Alright, so there's one thing that everyone says it's the key to success. It's gonna solve all your problems. At business school, they say it's super important, but at the same time, everyone's super confused about it. And that is networking. So in this video, I'm gonna talk to you about my approach to networking and how I've been able to get some really cool opportunities through my network. So let's get straight into it. There seem to be a lot of misconceptions and conceptions about what it is, what it helps you achieve, and how to go about doing it. So in this video, I'm gonna talk about how I approach networking and what networking has helped me achieve and how I get opportunities out of it. And I've been able to get some pretty cool opportunities through networking. Stick around to the end of the video where I talk about exactly the opportunities that I've got just by networking. One of the coolest ones was that a few months ago, I met Abish Matthew in Paris. I took him out for ice cream and I got to chat with him for like a good 2 hours. So that was pretty fun. And yeah, that happened through my network. I'll tell you exactly how that happened at the end of the video, so stick around. So first and foremost, what is networking? Almost all the opportunities you get are gonna come directly or indirectly from the people that you're connected with. Whether it's through strong connections, like close friends, or weak connections, like that one person that you met at a party 5 months ago. And this thing called networking is essentially building this network and making it such that this network reflects your interest and serves as an exchange of value. So by default, you already have a network. But the difference between a strong network and a weak network is whether you're intentional about who's in your network, you're intentional about nurturing this network, and you're intentional about leveraging this network to get to where you want. So when it comes to building the network, let's first talk about the mindset to take while networking. For me personally, networking is building relationships that give value to each other. It's pretty much just that. It's never a one-way street. It always goes both ways. Also, you don't have to be friends with everyone that you network with. You just have to be on the same page about what your relationship is to each other and what value you're getting from it. And actually it's been said that most of your opportunities are going to come from weak connections rather than the strong connections in your life. So I always try to build a network from a place of giving. And a lot of times this is obvious, like especially when you're networking with people your own age or people who are at the same stage of life as you. But many times it's actually not very obvious when you're networking with like senior people that what am I actually giving or contributing to this person. But when you're networking with like senior people who you can't actually help out in their career, the thing that you're actually giving to them is this dopamine rush of helping someone and seeing them succeed. When you ask someone for advice and you actually engage with them and listen to the advice that they give you, apply it, and you actually succeed because of that, it makes the other person feel really, really good. So actually you're giving something as well. You're giving them the feeling of having helped someone. And that's also pretty strong. It's only when you ask for advice from someone and do absolutely nothing with that advice, that's when you waste their time. All right, so how do you go about actually building your network? So I'm assuming that if you're watching this video, you're either a student or a very recent graduate. So the most obvious way to go about it is through school. There's tons of people at your school. Each of them has a unique value that they can give you only if you look deep enough to actually figure out what that is and find it. In fact, my first marketing internship that I got back in 2018 was through the network that I built in Manipal. It came through a student, I'm not even kidding. More on that at the end of the video. The second place to network is LinkedIn. This is where a lot of people actually network. They think LinkedIn is just for networking. That's why everyone in business school is on it. For me, I consider it pretty much like a Pokédex for business people. You can connect with anyone, or even without connecting with someone, you can write thoughtful comments on their posts. You can send them messages. There's so much that you can do on LinkedIn to engage with people. But you can also network in real life. Just get into the habit of learning more and more about every single person that you meet. Try and figure out what do they do, where do they work, what are they passionate about, what are their hobbies, and what is the way that you can help them. I think it helps generally to get into this mindset of thinking that, okay, how can I help this person? Before thinking about how can this person help me? So when I was in Los Angeles, I met people at the randomest of places. One of my best friends from there, I met her in the back of an Uber pool. I met this guy at a bus stop. He turned out to be a senior engineer at Amazon Prime Video. He mentored me a few days after I met him. I met people at bars, restaurants, meetups, at concerts as well, like random places. It helps a lot to build the skill of carrying out a conversation and actually learning about the other person. One of the things that I always try and do is figure out what is this topic that this person lights up when they talk about it. And then when I see that they're excited about this particular topic, I ask them even more questions about it. And because people love talking about things that they're passionate about, people are gonna like you a lot for letting them talk about those things. And that's also how you're gonna learn more about the things that they're passionate about. To sum up, wherever you're networking, whether it's in school, on LinkedIn, at your job, at different places around the city, at parties that you're going to, meetups, networking events, whatever it might be. I think a good mindset to really get into is, how can I learn as much about this person as possible? What are the things that they're really passionate about and that they love talking about? And figure out like what are the ways that you can help them. Helping someone does not necessarily mean like actually helping them with something specific. It could even just mean like giving them a platform to talk about themselves. It could mean giving them advice on something that they're confused about. It means really listening to the problems that they have and offering your perspective on them. Try and figure out like what about your expertise and your experience could benefit this person. I think I've recommended this book multiple times on my channel, but this book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, honestly, it's been like a Bible for me throughout my undergrad as well as my business school. It just helps so much in understanding how to connect with people in a way that's deeper than, normal small talk is gonna get you. So yeah, highly recommend that. I'm gonna put the link somewhere in the description. You should definitely check it out. All right, next let's talk about nurturing your network. The first thing I'd say to that is being thoughtful goes a really long way. When you know what someone is passionate about and when you see an article, a product, an opportunity, or anything that you think might be interesting for them, you should reach out and share it with them. That's going to show that you were actually listening when they were talking to you, you know about them and you remember things about them, and that you actually care. Second, actually look at the content that they create if they do create content, whether that's LinkedIn posts that they make, Instagram stories that they share, and engage with it. Like write thoughtful comments or send them a message telling them how much you appreciate it. Instagram stories is actually really powerful for this because today you can pretty much find out what a person is doing and what they're passionate about by looking at the content that they create and share online. Because on social media, people love to share the things about themselves that they want other people to see and notice. And so if you're this person who really notices it and shares your appreciation, people will never not like that. Also, another cool thing with Instagram stories is that since you know what people are up to, when you meet them in person, you have things to talk about. You can talk to them about the things that you saw them doing during their vacation or the previous weekend or whatever it is. You have these points of conversation, which, because it's about them and things they did, they would most likely be happy to engage with you on them. Basically, the idea is that you should show a real, genuine interest in them and what they're doing. And that's also another principle of the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, because it's only when you're genuine about this, when you genuinely want to be engaged with another person, that's when you can make a real connection. The next way would be to be vulnerable. I think sharing things about yourself that are a bit vulnerable, that are not that comfortable to share to everyone, that builds trust. And that shows the other person that you're not perfect. You're also sharing with them your struggles and you're sharing with them the things that you're going through. And that also goes a long way in building trust and engagement with another person. Another way to nurture the network is to actually make an effort to reach out to people and be the one that initiates the plans. This applies not just to people who live in the same city as you and like for physical plans, but it also applies to people across the world. Because today, especially after 2020, it's really not that weird to reach out to people and ask them for a Zoom catch-up. I think video calls are absolutely great because you can catch up with someone no matter where they are in the world at a time and schedule that works for both of you. And it's as close that you can get to having a coffee together without actually physically meeting up. So I think video calls are super underrated. Even a 30-minute video call is a great way to catch up with someone. And the cool thing with this is that through doing video calls, you're actually able to meet people that you otherwise would not be able to meet. And obviously, you can also go and initiate plans to do something together in person, whether that's just getting a coffee or finding an event that you think both of you might be interested in and suggesting that you go together for that event. I think these things are what are going to really help you build closer connections. The thing is that most people don't actually want to be the ones that are initiating plans, and that's fine. So if you're the one who actually initiates the plans, you're putting yourself in a really good position. And honestly, you really don't have that much to lose. Like in the worst case, they say no, it's a bit awkward, but you can get over it, it's fine. Honestly, I met so many of my friends in Paris and even around the world just like this. Like it's either I initiated plans or they initiated plans, and we did that again and again, and the magic of friendship took over, and that was it. In fact, one of my friends in Paris right now, Joshua, he's another YouTuber. He just slid into my DMs on Instagram saying, "Hey Mayank, like I've seen your YouTube videos, they're really cool. I'm also a YouTuber. Let me buy a beer for you." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, that sounds good." Like he seems like a really cool guy. And we met up for a beer. We had a great time and now we're friends. It was pretty much as simple as that. Another way to nurture this network is to share opportunities. When you come across an opportunity either from someone else or something that you saw online or somewhere that you think someone else might be able to benefit from, you should pass that along. By doing so, you're helping two people. The person who's offering the opportunity, because that person usually needs help with something. That's why the opportunity exists, right? And also the person who's receiving the opportunity, because they have a way to use their skills. And by being the connector of these two people, you're increasing your value in both of their eyes. I got almost all of the coolest opportunities that I've gotten because someone shared them with me. Alright, so the beauty of a network is that you never know from whom your next opportunity is gonna come. And the crazy thing is that the people that you help may not be the exact ones that are helping you back. It could be someone else. But for me, it's all about putting value out into the world and then just trusting that value is gonna come back to me. But that being said, there are a few ways that you can actively leverage this network that you've created and nurtured. The first way is to ask for introductions. When you need to reach someone but you don't know them directly, if you know someone that knows this person, you can ask them to connect you to. And then that way, you're not a complete stranger. So this person would be a lot more receptive to you than if you would have just reached out cold. The second way is to ask for help on specific things. When you're stuck on something or when you need advice on something and when you know someone that could probably help you out, you should reach out and ask for that help. As I said in the beginning of the video, people usually love to help people who are receptive to receiving that help. But don't be that person who asks for help on things that you could easily solve by just a simple Google search. That's really not cool. Do your own research, and if you realize that you actually need help from someone specific on it, then reach out to them and ask them for that help. This also applies specifically when you need help on something that is specific to a certain person's experience, or when you want their opinion on something, or when you want their advice on something which is not objective, which could be subjective, but you respect it. And the last way to leverage your network is to share your aspirations. A lot of people keep their aspirations and goals to themselves. I'm of the opinion that you should share them. You should share your goals, your aspirations, the things that you're working on, the challenges and struggles that you're facing, and that way you might attract the people who can help you out with them. My friend and advisor, Jeremy, he said this in a really great way.
What I like to do, it's always shared about ideas because it helped me to prioritize. Why? For example, I want to launch a co-living. I say that since 6 months now. Every time I met someone, I want to launch a co-living. But to launch a co-living, you need a lot of partners. You need co-investors, you need an architect, and just by saying that in the last 6 months, I got introduced to 2 real estate agents. I got introduced to 10 people who are ready to invest in the co-living. And I got introduced to a very amazing architect who is ready to engage on the project. So I did nothing yet. I just tell to people, I will build a co-living in Colombia. And 20% of the project is already done. Like the money is there, the talent are almost there. We still have big project, but I still did nothing. It was just an idea on my Apple Note. So this is an example why you need to share ideas, because by you sharing ideas, you advance on the project. And the second one, who is more my method, if I don't tell to people, I have no excuse to do it. You know what I mean? But when I say to my mom, for example, I'm buying an apartment in Paris, that's my goal for the years. You need to buy the apartment because you commit over people. And I think that's what is important is commit. It's important. You can fail, whatever, but at least you tell to people, I will do that.
All right, so as promised, let me now tell you a few stories of how I got some really cool opportunities through my network. So my first ever marketing internship that I got in my 8th semester of Manipal, that was actually through a student at Manipal. There was a guy, he and a few other students had a startup in Manipal, and they approached me to make a video for them. And I did that in exchange for them buying me a GoPro from the US because they were going to travel to California for a conference. And so we did this little exchange. They really liked my video. I really liked the GoPro that they got for me, and it was great. And then a few months later, same guy reached out again and he's like, hey man, can you make another video for us? And I'm like, you know what? These guys seem really, really cool. They seem pretty smart. And let me just do this to build a good network with them. And I did the second video. Turns out that this guy started working at a company called Springroll, which was also founded by a Manipal alumni. And he showed the CEO of Springroll, Karthik Mandaville, the video that I made for his startup. And Karthik was super impressed. He connected Karthik with me. And Karthik then asked me if I wanted to be Springroll's first ever marketing intern. And that's pretty much how I got it. Another cool story also in Manipal is how I got my first ever freelance video editing gig. That was also through my network. One of my friends, Kashish, he knew this guy who ran a local ad agency in Udupi. I was making videos on the YouTube channel of a student media body at Manipal, and Kashish, my friend, showed the ad agency owner the videos that I was making for the student media body, and the ad agency owner was super impressed and he asked to meet me. So Kashish connected him with me, and that led to me getting this freelance video editing gig while I was a student, which was great because that pretty much allowed me to earn money making videos for the first time ever. So that was awesome. So you see, the similarity between these two instances was that I had people who kind of knew my strengths, and then when they came across an opportunity, they passed it on to me. And that's how I got an opportunity and the others got someone to work with them. So another interesting one is how I got my internship in Los Angeles, because this was actually networking that I did not do, but I benefited from it. So there was another HEC student who really wanted to do an internship in LA. So she searched for HEC alumni in Los Angeles and started reaching out to them and writing to them. And she found this one who agreed to give her an internship at his company in LA and also pay for her visa. And after he did that, the company decided that, they want another marketing intern as well from HEC. And that's how they decided to send an email to the HEC email list. They were looking for a marketing intern and the profile perfectly matched mine. And I just wrote to them and I applied for it and I got it. Technically, that came from my network as well, except the network was my HEC network. So when I think about it, almost all the really cool opportunities that I've gotten, they've all come from my network. Alright, so the way I met Abish Matthew, as promised. I have this friend from back home in Bangalore. His name is Nikhil Kinney. He's got a great YouTube channel as well, which you should go check out. He's super funny, and he actually worked with Abish on Son of Abish. And when Abish was in Paris on vacation, Nikhil sent me a message saying, hey Mayank, like Abish is in Paris, you should go meet him. And then he sent Abish a message on Instagram as well saying, hey Abish, there's this guy Mayank, you should meet him, and he's in Paris too. And he pretty much just like linked us up together. And then I sent Abish a DM on Instagram saying, hey, like Nikhil asked me to message you. And then we just met up for ice cream and we walked around for like 2 hours. We spoke about YouTube, we spoke about how it is like to be a creator. And honestly, it was an incredibly fun experience. Abish is a really, really nice guy and I really enjoyed it. And this happened just because I was connected to him through Nikhil. So Nikhil connected both of us together. So networking, it's insane. So I hope that gives you guys like a bit of an inspiration to go out and build, nurture, and leverage your network, because there's huge potential there. Let me know if you actually want to see more videos like this on these kinds of topics, and I'll be happy to share whatever I know. Also, hit that subscribe button if you don't want to miss out on weekly videos that I'm uploading. Alright, see you guys in the next one.